Hi everybody. Today we are at the beginning of the week, starting on April the 8th. So the assignment for this week is the one related to the video lecture, Improving Job Performance Through Empathetic Management. This is a bit more complex, a model-driven data analytics assignment, but it's more in line with what is often done by people who use tools like Qualtrics. Qualtrics is the leader of experience management. So Qualtrics is a company that enables other business firms and even they offer that as a service, collect data from customers and from individuals in organizations and from individuals in general to make predictions about products and sales and profits. Qualtrics actually was acquired by a company called SAP, which is the pride and joy of Europe. It's a German company. It's their, I think, largest software company in Europe. In Europe, Germany is the largest economy. So, just to give an idea, SAP has a $218 billion market capitalization. So that's the value of the company in the market. And it's looks very large, and in fact it is large, but it's not even comparable. It's much less than Oracle's. Oracle has a $338 billion market capitalization. So just to give an idea of the differences in the size of software and technology firms in the United States, that would be Oracle, and in Europe, that would be SAP. And this is not even considering a company like Google, for example, which is probably close to $2 trillion in market capitalization. Yeah, almost $2 trillion. 2 trillion. So I served in research committees as an expert reviewer for the European Commission for several years, and they always wanted to be able to create a new Google there, or Amazon or Apple, but they have not been able to do that. They have not even been able to replicate the success of SAP. Now Qualtrics has been taken private, so it was acquired by SAP, and then it was spun off as a public company on its own, and then later it was taken private by Silver Lake, meaning that Qualtrics does not, you cannot acquire shares in the public markets of the company. You cannot own part of the company. It's now owned by a private equity firm called Silver Lake. All right. I checked already the Module 3 submissions. From what I can see, everybody submitted on time. Module 4, we already have, I guess, one submission by Kayla. Thank you very much for that. I have some comments here under learning assessment, so I'm always interested in learning what you're learning. And there were actually comments on learning and also questions. Very good questions. So the question, and this is a question that Jennifer had, so a question by Perla that Jennifer had, which is a good question. So my question pertains to the R-squared value of 54% or 0.54 Given that 4 variables explain around half of the variance in satisfaction, is it safe to assume that we can explain the full variance with another 4 variables? No, it's not. The variables have to be, first of all, they have to be very carefully selected, and they cannot be redundant with the current 4 variables. Otherwise, you just add a little bit to the R squared. You may go from 0.54 to 0.61 with another 4 variables. So no, it's unlikely that you would be going to 100% with another 4 variables. And that is related to another question. Is an R squared value of 1 even possible? No, it's not. So this is discussed in a paper. If you are interested, there are publications that discuss more specific issues on warpls.com, and this is one of them. This lateral collinearity and misleading results. And in this paper, if you open it and you go to the end of the paper, you're going to see this area. And this area shows that if you were to have an R for 2 variables of 0.949, you would have VIF, variance inflation factor, in a model with only 2 variables at 10, which is clearly indicative of multicollinearity, which essentially means that the predictor variable and the criterion variable, the variable that is pointing and the variable pointed at, they are redundant. In other words, they measure the same thing. And the R squared would be this value squared, right? So got it here on Excel. So this value squared would be 0.9. So in other words, if you have an R squared or 0.9 or higher, then your model is collinear. In other words, 2 or more of the variables in the model are measuring the same thing. They are redundant. So in short, you can never have a R squared in a model of 0.9 or higher without the model being showing or presenting collinearity, which tends to distort the path coefficients. So a model with an R squared of 0.9 or higher cannot be trusted. That's the bottom line. Most likely you have 2 or more variables that are just redundant. They measure the same thing. Now you can have indicators of latent variables being redundant. That's okay, but not latent variables themselves as part of the model as redundant. That's not okay. So that answers that question. You cannot have a model with 100% of the variance being explained. Okay, so thank you for watching, and don't forget to submit your assignment by the end of this week, by 1 p.m. on Friday. One interesting thing that is happening here at MU in Laredo this week is that we have our Western Hemispheric Trade Conference, and I'm going to be participating in the conference. It will run from Wednesday to Friday, but I should have the time to post another video on Friday. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.